My name is Mikkail Shaw, opus number 1509665. I'm currently at Lumberton Correctional. I've been locked up 11 years for the robbery of Scotty McQuarrie and his friends. I've been locked up since I was 19. I'm 30 now, and I received a 17 to 24-year sentence.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised, but my grandparents moved to North Carolina when I was 13. I had parents that dealt with substance abuse, so, I ended up in the foster care system, but thank God my grandparents came and adopted me, and they raised me in a good household, a Muslim household. Yeah, I gotta forgive me. There's been a lot going on today, but yeah, I came down to North Carolina when I was 13, partly due to behavioral issues and, just getting into a lot of stuff. And my grandparents retired and decided that North Carolina was a fresh start, an opportunity to succeed. I got down here and the story was still the same. I kept getting in trouble inside of school, outside of school, getting involved in gangs, not coming home when I was supposed to. Like I said, grew up in a Muslim household, so not following the rules. So it led to me getting kicked out. Thinking I was going back to New York, I ended up reuniting with my mother, and she did her best to raise me, but she did a good job. She applied a lot of pressure, and I did good. I started getting better grades in school. I ended up graduating early. I got arrested a couple of times, but for the most part, I stayed out of the way, and I had some successes. She tried to further add on to that success by sending me to the military after high school. I went, but it didn't last long. I still had disciplinary issues. I didn't want to listen to nobody. I was hard-headed, so they sent me home. Upon coming back from the military, I landed in Raleigh, back with my grandparents. It was going good. It was going good out there. I got in school. I got me a little job. Got me a couple cars. And I thought I had it figured out. But it was more so the pressure of my parents and my grandparents to do good that was actually keeping me on the straight path. But I guess old habits is hard to break. I started falling back into being with my friends and wanting to live a life that wasn't really for me. Like I said, I was born and raised in a Muslim household. The things that I was into wasn't the things that my grandparents and my parents were teaching me. So I ended up getting kicked out of my grandparents' house and started living out my car. That fully had me submersed. That fully had me submersed in the lifestyle that I was trying to live. Now I'm just infused with drugs and I want to party. I'm not making the right decisions. My paychecks wasn't lasting long enough because I wasn't prioritizing right and just not hanging around the right people. And I got to doing some things and whatnot. And on this one occasion, I ended up running across this charge. Make a long story short, I ended up being the only one that got arrested, and I couldn't really get out of the situation, so I took the time for everybody, sent them on their way, and I just, I walked my path. During the court proceedings, my grandfather came and he spoke on my behalf when it was time for me to be sentenced. And he said something on the stand that at first I didn't agree with, because I'm like, yo, I'm on national news and you sitting here talking about me, you crazy. But he called me a follower. He said my grandson is a follower. He falls behind people without question, and basically he doesn't want to step up and take the lead. He'd rather be led. And at first I took offense to it, but I guess when you sitting in these walls and you got time to reflect, it was actually truth in the statement. But you got to look at yourself in the mirror and actually realize when there's a problem. Like I said, growing up, I had behavioral issues. Bad. I mean, I've been expelled from every school that I could ever remember. And I never really understood why.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
I could take you back to a specific situation. Me and one of my bros, we got into a fight. Well, he got into a fight, and we ended up jumping somebody. Me aiding, assisting him. And when we got suspended and we was walking home, it was like, I kind of questioned, like, yo, what was that even for? Like, I don't really know why we keep getting suspended, why we keep going through that. But he really couldn't read that good. So he was like, instead of taking the test, I found a reason to get past it. And I'm sitting there like, well, I could read. Like, I scored pretty good on my tests. So we doing this for two totally different reasons, which has kind of been the story of my life. I never really had to do the things that I did, but I chose to be out there. I chose to surround myself with these crowds because I thought that was where I wanted to be at. And with catching this charge, the people that I was with, everybody else got off scot-free, and I'm the one that had to wear the consequences, which I don't mind. Things happen. God has his plan. If it was for me to sit in here, it was for me to sit in here. But then I got to see what it really was when it came to standing on business, as people say. And nobody did nothing for me for what I did. And nobody checked on my family. And nobody sent me no money. I ain't get no how you doings or kudos. I didn't get no awards. All I did was put my family through a situation. All I did was waste years of my life for really nothing. But, everything happened for a reason. God has a bigger plan than me or anybody listening. So I took that time and I reflected. I was still in the mix with the gangs when I came to prison, and I got SRG'd. I got into a couple situations, and then they did something called Level 3. Level 3, let's just say it breaks up a lot of relationships. I haven't had a contact visit since, 2017, 2018, and let's just say it broke up a lot of relationships. I haven't been able to hug my mother for a lot of years. My grandparents, I've probably seen them once since I've been here. They both have since passed away, and I've just lost a lot of ties with friends, and I don't really speak to family now. And it's just like a snowballing effect. Prison doesn't just affect you. Prison affects everything about you. It affects your family. I got nieces and nephews that's been born since I've been gone, that the only time they get to see me is through pictures. The only time they get to talk to me is through phone calls. And when they ask why they can't come see me, I can't really explain to them because I've been involved in so much that y'all not allowed to come up. They don't understand that. And even though I'm doing better, even though I've changed my life around and I'm walking the straight path, the things I did in the past is still affecting me. I still got to deal with this level 3 to where I can't have no contact visits or I get 2 phone calls a month. Even now, doing this interview, I got to use somebody else's PIN number because my PIN number don't work. So it's a thing about choices and consequences is basically what I'm saying. To be able to be yourself and to be able to walk how you gonna walk without worrying about proving something to somebody else or wanting to be a part of something. Like I said, I was brought up in a good household, but I chose to go do wrong. I know a lot of people can't say that because they be having their own situations and whatnot, but it's even more crazy to not have to go through the things and then still go through those things because you think the grass is greener on the other side. Nah, that ain't. Sometimes the grass is greener where you at. And then when you get to the other side, you realize it ain't really what you necessarily want. But yeah, prison is definitely an experience. My situation isn't in compared to some of the people that I'm around or some of the people that I've had an opportunity to know, an opportunity to get close to. I got some of my Muslim brothers or just some people that I've met that's good people, but they got 2 life sentences. They got life plus 50 years. They got 60, 70 years.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Or they have 8 consecutive life sentences, like crazy time. So when you get to looking at stuff like that, yes, my little 17 to 24 years, that's really like a skip in the park. But it's like they try to hide us in. These were my first felonies, and I got more years than I was born, or that I was alive. But it's they try to hide you in this system. They give you a whole lot of time that you know you ain't gonna be able to do, and a lot of times they don't call for it. Like I said, I was 19 when I got locked up. 17 to 24 years for my first felony, and didn't nobody get hurt. I could say that it was wrong. I could say whatever. But I guess at the end of the day, I put myself in that predicament to even play Russian roulette with the system. I don't know. Still, all in all, sometimes it'd be too much time. But yeah, I really think that my story should be out there, mainly because there's a lot of kids out there that's going through what I'm going through. A lot of kids out there that I see coming in now, as me being 30, you got people coming in the system now, 18 and 19, and they coming in with 5, 10 years and whatnot. And I try my best to tell them, like, hell, look, man, I've been up that road. I'm up this road. You gonna get tired of this place, but this place not gonna get tired of you. Like, they making money off of us.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
Like, they making their money off of us. Without us, there wouldn't be no system. There wouldn't be no workers here. They short staffed. They short staff at a lot of these prisons, and that means extra strain on the staff that's here. They up 20 hours. They not getting no adequate sleep. So when they come in here, they got chips on their shoulders. They aggravated. They take their frustrations out on us. They just institutionalized like us. The only difference is they got a badge. They be more, if not more messed up than we are. But that's neither here nor there. I just try to tell the younger people that's coming in, like, make better decisions, make better choices. You got opportunities, take the opportunities. It's not going to come overnight. There's no such thing as instant gratification. It's some things you got to work for. And when you work for stuff, you're going to be tested. It's like how you in school. You don't pass your grade without taking and passing tests. Me, I was tested. I was doing good. I was in school. I had my job. Coincidentally, on the day I got locked up, I was hired for my second job. I never got a chance to put the uniform on. I chose to make a bad decision, and it took me right off the path that I was on, and then I took a trip up the road to prison. Now I'm trying to fight to get my life back. So I could be out there with my parents, and I could be out there with my nieces and nephews, and I can become more than an opus number. It takes a second to make a choice, but the ramifications and the consequences could last a lifetime. I'm lucky. I got a date. A lot of these people here, they fighting just to get a number. A lot of these people done lost a lot of loved ones. It ain't just the victim. I ran to somebody's house and I robbed them, but what ended up happening? The two people that was in the courtroom with me, the only two people that was in the courtroom with me, they both passed away. So I robbed myself of a chance to be there for them. So yeah, I took some for somebody else and ended up taking more for myself. But you live, you learn, and the whole thing is to get better. The whole thing is to learn from your mistakes. Right? I didn't really come up here to preach, but I just wanted to be a voice to let y'all know that change is possible. Sometimes you got to go through some things to grow through some things, and I'm going through it and I'm growing through it. God willing, I could come out and make a change in the community because I see what the younger generation going through and what they facing and the decisions that they having to make at an even younger age than I was making it. And they got a lot of worse off situations than I've ever been in. So I understand how easy that lure is. But my words to y'all is it ain't worth it. This ain't worth it. It ain't worth it for you. It ain't worth it for your family. 'Cause like I said, you'll get tired of this place, but this place will not get tired of you. The lights don't never cut off. And they don't mind holding you here till they can't hold you no more. So the best thing would be is to not give them a chance to hold you. I appreciate Miss Frankie and Behind the Wall Talk for letting me speak. A wonderful lady. She has a wonderful system she set up here, a wonderful platform. It's a lot of injustices going on inside of these walls that people will never understand or people will never witness, because this is the closest thing to being dead. We so far away from society that the things we go through, a lot of people don't comprehend. You got a lot of things that happen in that courtroom that people don't understand. Like, they'll take your life and they'll bury it in statues and laws and rulings, and by the time they do decide to give your life back, it's been 30, 40 years that you have lost to a system. Nah, that ain't cool. Right now, I'm on consecutive sentence. My 17 to 24 years was broken into 4 different sentences. I'm on my 3rd one now, trying to get back the 4th one. So that means I got to do 4 sentences for these charges. So it's a lot that come with it, but again, it's best not to put yourself in a position to have to deal with it. Make better choices. When you try with any type of, if you get tried with any type of situation, lean towards the good, because the bad might be satisfactory right then, but it don't never work out. It's like a temporary fix, but it don't never really fix nothing. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate Miss Frankie again and Behind the Wall Talks for giving
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
me a chance to speak my piece.